Hey guys, Michael here, founder and CEO of Gorelo. Just going to quickly run you through tickets in Gorelo today. So if you have a look here, we're looking at the ticket list. On the left-hand side, these are views and they filter the tickets over on the right. So these are a few baked in by default, but you can create your own views down the bottom left here. Create whatever you want, and then you can even share them with the rest of your team so everyone can see the view. Over on the right, these are the tickets that are filtered here. Everything on a normal ticket you would expect. And over on the right-hand side, this is what we call the recent activity pane. So essentially the most recent thing to have occurred will show up here. This is all live and up to date. If one of your techs jumps in, makes a change, does whatever, these will rearrange and these will update. These two little icons here, this first one is a shipment tracking icon. This allows you to put a con note number in and track that start to finish. This here is a checklist icon. This shows you how many checklist items are complete out of how many exist on the ticket. So what we're going to do is we're just actually going to create a new ticket here. We'll just call it test and we'll choose Ashvane Trading Company as the client. From here, we'll just click create and land on the ticket detail page. So this is where you will be doing all of your ticketing from. It has the ticket number, the title, client location, and this is the to field. This is essentially who the ticket is addressed to at your client. We're going to choose Priscilla from the list here. You can add CCs as well if you're looking to add a few more people on there. Over on the right-hand side here, this is the info panel of the ticket. There is a ticket timer that has started. You can add products, you can add assignees. In this case, we're going to just assign myself using this mine button. This is just a quick little shortcut to put yourself on there and it makes you the lead. When it comes to assignees on a ticket, there are three types. There is a lead, which there can only be one. They're responsible for the ticket. But then there are assists, as many as you want, and watches, as many as you want there as well. You can see there is a little icon here. This is my user status. It says I'm working remotely. This can be set up the top right-hand corner, and you can set this to whatever you want and have it expire after a certain amount of time. As an example, if I was to say I was at lunch, it would expire after 1 hour. This is a handy thing to set and have all your techs using because it does show up in a few areas. The first one is here. As you go to assign someone, you can see Chase. He's actually working remotely, so I probably could assign him. However, Hazaif, he's at lunch. Probably not a good idea. He might not be able to get to this for the next hour or so. From here, we're just going to jump down to the timeline. So this, what we're looking at is the everything timeline, everything that's kind of going on here. I'm just going to move this so you can see a little bit more. You can see a few different actions have taken place already. If I click into this bottom area here and start typing, this is what we call a private comment. This is internal to your MSP. This is kind of like Slack or Teams, but directly on a ticket. You can @mention people from here. So as an example, @mentioning Hazaif, he's actually at lunch. So this is another area the status shows up. So yes, I can @mention him. He'll get added to the ticket and he'll even receive a notification in his notification pane and on his mobile device. But considering he's at lunch, maybe I shouldn't expect a reply back. You can @mention entire groups as well. So maybe you have a senior technicians group, you have a licensing group, something along those lines. You can call out the entire group. That group will get added to the ticket and they will all get notified that they've been @mentioned via the notification pane or their mobile device. So those are private comments. They're internal, Teams or Slack, but here on the ticket. The next type of comment we have is what we call a public comment. This is actually used when you want to email the to and CC contacts here. So as I've clicked the public area here, it's blown up a much larger area to type, and you can see the to address and the from address. This would be your own custom email address and domain. It wouldn't have a Gorelo subdomain or anything like that. From here, you click post and it sends off that comment. So you can see here, let me just minimize this. You can see here that this is a public comment. It went out to, I'll actually move it over here for now. This is a public comment. It went out to the to and CCs on this particular ticket via email. It takes up most of the screen here. In this case, it's actually bounced back. So there's no MX record for this domain. So there was an error. We show it here. We also show you here in the notification area, just so you're aware of any problems that might have happened. The next type of comment we have is a third-party conversation. So this is when you need to reach out to a third party, but you want to keep it all on the exact same ticket and amongst everything else that's going on. In this case, I'm breaking out a brand new conversation thread to Dell. typing up an email and sending that off. If I go back to the everything timeline, you can now see there is a new conversation thread. This one is purple. This went to Dell exclusively. This has nothing to do with the public conversation that went to Priscilla or any of the CCs. They are completely separate from each other. Separate email threads. If they were to reply back, they thread into their own separate areas. If I just want to see public, I can go to this and filter it. Or if I just want to see Dell, much the same. Next along, we have shipment tracking, like I mentioned earlier. This is where you put a con note number in, you detect courier, and it figures out who it is. In this case, it's Aramex. It's an Australian courier. It's pretty cool. But there's tens of thousands across the world here. So we're bound to have exactly whatever courier you're using in your local region. You'll get notified when that's out for delivery and when that's being delivered. And each time they scan that along the way, we will actually show a timeline entry here. So you're aware of where it's up to. Next along, we have checklists. So checklists can be created from scratch, or you can use a template. Template looks something like this. You build it out in advance. You can add assignees, due dates, and then you apply that to your ticket. Your text, or you'll actually work along on that checklist like this. And a cool little feature, you can automatically turn that into a time entry. I spent 5 minutes on this ticket, and I can just insert the completed checklist items like this and click submit. Back out here, let's look at the last one on the list here, approvals. So approvals are used when you need to reach out to your client and have them approve something. Like maybe it's a hardware purchase or access to a SharePoint site, something like that. The way we do it is based on contacts for that particular client and whether they've been marked as an approver using different types of tags that you can customize. In this case, both of these are an approver, and this person even has a description. It just says testing, but you could put anything you wanted in there. You could say this person can only approve SharePoint access to the accounts drive or something very granular. You'll then pick 1, 2, as many as you want, and then you actually send an email off to them. They will get an email that allows them to approve or deny that request. If it's approved, it'll mark it here. If it's denied, same again. Back out here on the everything timeline, we've got a brand new conversation thread. This one is orange. So once again, it is completely separate to Dell and completely separate to my public conversation with Priscilla. But you and your text, you can see everything on the one ticket, all kept together. A few other fun or exciting features. You can actually encrypt text down here to expire after a certain amount of time. So in this case, maybe you're sending off a sensitive password, like you reset their password and you're sending them something temporary or another piece of sensitive information. In this case, I want this to expire after 24 hours. So I can encrypt that, I can send it off, they can click there, they can view their password, and then 24 hours later, that will expire. Same goes for embedding forms. So we have a form builder baked into Gorelo. You can build out user onboarding forms, offboarding forms, things like that, embed them into a ticket, send it off to the client. They'll then click on that form link. They can follow through, fill out all the different details for this new user that's starting, including, will they be using a computer? What software will they have? Blah, blah, blah. And from there, they can submit, send themselves a copy if they want, or as a technician, back out here on the actual ticket, you've received a response. You can view it, look at all the different details, follow along, set up that user, and it's all captured here on the ticket. A few other fun things over on the right-hand side. When you set an on-hold status, you can put whatever reason in here you want at all. Hovering over it shows you the reason, who set it, what date and time. This actually extends to the ticket list. So if you're scrolling through here, you can see what's going on. This guy's waiting for documentation. This guy just put some crazy reason in there. So it makes it easy to see at a glance what's going on. Three-dot menu has a few extra things like overriding billing, merging tickets, labels, delete, all that sort of good stuff. Over here, we've had a look at time entries and products. We've looked at assignees, RMM. So we won't dig too far into this, but when it comes to the RMM, generally speaking, you'll be using it from the ticket. So you can add assets here, whether it's Mac OS or Windows. You can add custom assets. You can add uptime monitoring for websites and internet connections, and they'll all appear here on the ticket, ready for you to interact with. As a quick example, I could open up the background CLI. like this. And from here, I can run a script that I've published to all of my assets, such as showing logged in users. I can run as the user context, change to command prompt. I can use AI assistants to, let's say, show all running services. And then it's going to actually build out that PowerShell command for me if I'm not sure what it is. It can make your life a little bit easier. And we haven't actually left the ticket. The ticket is in the background still. Closing out of that, let's say I couldn't resolve the issue via CLI. I can then open Remote File Explorer. So this is a background file explorer where you can transfer files, maybe pull a log file, something like that. And if that doesn't help, I can always just remote into that computer, take over the end user's session and help doing whatever they want. So here I am remoting in. I can open up File Explorer, do something from there and go from there. We'll dig into the RMM later in another video, but for now, this is the ticket version of the RMM and where most texts will work from anyway. Down here, ticket types. So this is something you can look to configure, add your own ticket types. We come with a few ITIL-based ones, and you can automatically apply these ticket types using AI. So in the backend, auto ticket types, you can see I'm automatically applying either incident or request to every inbound ticket based on AI. Handy feature and definitely well worth enabling. Next along, we have tags. So tags are how we kind of categorize things in Gorelo. A little bit more flexible than type, subtype items, or just categories in general. You can add as many or as little tags as you want. All of these are customizable in the back end. You can use emojis. You can set them all up. And you can also configure it to automatically apply these tags using AI. So these are all my AI-based tags. And they not only have a tag name, they have a pretty detailed description. And AI is looking at the tag name, the description, and then looking to match that against the inbound ticket, the subject and the full content there. And then I've configured this to automatically apply up to 2 of them to that ticket. So I would recommend enabling both of those. Just saves a lot of time and effort and one less thing your techs have to do. Priority, 2-level priority system in this tenant. You can change this to 5-level and groups here. There is a scheduling add to calendar view here. But generally speaking, you can just blow out our calendar and to-do list, drag and drop straight onto your calendar, and that will book it in. There is two-way Microsoft 365 sync, and there is SSO with Microsoft 365 as well, which I would recommend both. So we do have an insights panel here as well. This shows you all the recent tickets for this client and even the contact. We have similar tickets coming in a future update, and same with relevant documents, bubbling up documentation that happens to be in Gorelo and matching this particular ticket. Down the bottom here, the last thing to show you would be shortcuts. So shortcuts can be used to take a heap of different actions on the ticket all in one click. Everything you've seen me do can be done via a shortcut. So you can go to tickets and then go to shortcuts, add a shortcut, add a heap of different actions. Maybe you want to change the title to something. You want to change the status to solved. You can add assignees, watches, priority, groups, checklists, time entries, even wait blocks. So you can either use this for something as simple as a canned response or like a draft comment, or you can use it for something a little bit more advanced, like a user onboarding ticket where you want to do 10 or 15 different things. As an example, you might have a new client onboarding ticket and it's going out there assigning people, adding checklists, and then putting a draft in there for me to send off to the new client. Lots of different options there. And truly, the last thing here is actually our AI little tool here. So you can summarize a ticket. In this case, I'm summarizing everything that's been going on here. The ticket summary is showing just a bit of an intro, a few bullet points along the way of what happened in chronological order, and then kind of where things are off to right now. So that's pretty much it for tickets. There's a quick run through. We haven't touched on a lot of the other areas that integrate, such as documentation and RMM, but that'll come in a future video. Awesome. Thank you.